Thank you for coming back. And Joe, before the break, we were talking about people who wanted to go into the path of wellness, and you mentioned the rehearsal word. And I wonder if you could share with us how it is you start your day by doing this mind change.
Well, I've had a lot of great opportunities in my life to apply everything that I intellectually have learned, and some of the opportunities were not consciously created by me, but I've been involved in many, many different schools of thought, and one of the things I came across in my research into explaining spontaneous remissions, and then getting a degree in neuroscience, is that there is this concept called mental rehearsal, which says, if you take a group of people that never played the piano and you teach them scales and chords, and they physically demonstrate those actions, and they practice it for enough days, they'll grow new brain circuits. Simple concept: you learn something new, you make new connections, you repeat it, you pay attention, you get a little instruction, that the act of physically demonstrating it over and over again, new brain circuits will form. You can take another group of people and you can have them mentally rehearse playing those scales and chords, never touch the piano. And they can become so involved with what they're doing that there comes a moment where the brain doesn't know the difference between what's happening out there and what's happening in here. And the privilege of being a human being is that we can make thought more real than anything else. That's the gift. And mental rehearsal means then, if you can begin to think about things and remember things, learn new things and repeat them, and keep your attention on it, that the brain will capture the thought as the experience in and of itself, which means you can rewire your brain through the process of paying attention and through the process of mental rehearsal. So the question, of course, is, what do we mentally rehearse all day long, and what do we physically demonstrate? I.e., what do we think about and how do we act? Because that determines who we are as the neurological self, as the personality, as the identity. So if you knew that, then, and you wanted to begin to look at how you could change it. I never use the word visualization anymore because it excludes people. Too many people get hung up on the semantics of the word visualization. But mental rehearsal means that, can you concept yourself in the action? And for certain people, they see that very visually. And it's funny because most men say, well, I close my eyes and I don't see anything. It's dark in there. And then I say, can you see yourself hitting a golf ball? And they say, oh yeah. I said, that's it. So I use the word rehearsal so that everybody's included.
Yep.
And for me, there's an element when I rehearse that's very kinesthetic, it's very physical. There's an element that's kind of what I'm saying to myself, and there's an element that's very visual. So it's a combination, sensory-wise, of how we format mind. So if you knew that to be the truth, and you believed it to be, in fact, the way it is, then we could make many different levels of mind just by rehearsing, by planning, by memorizing, by thinking in new ways. So if you woke up in the morning and you asked yourself, what is the greatest ideal of myself today? I mean, that's what I ask myself. And if you wait for an answer without filling it in with all the things you have to do and all the places you have to go and all the time or little time you have to do certain things, I think if you wait for the answer, and you're the scientist in your life, if you're really interested in doing a better job in your life, I think you'll immediately come up with some really cool ways to think. And so I think, how would I think if I was the greatest ideal of myself? How would I act? How would I be? How would I feel? What would I not think? What would I not do? What would I not be? In the process of coming up with a solution, and then I don't get up until I actually feel like I'm that person. And I know that when we begin to feel like it, now we have mind and body on the same page. Now we're training the body, we're conditioning the body to learn what the mind has embraced. And that's the moment that we start to see unpredictable and uncommon things happen in our life. And I think that's when it gets pretty exciting.
Okay. And you have 2 children, don't you?
3 children.
3, oh sorry,
Yeah.
3 children.
Yeah.
And you've actually, as they've grown, introduced them to this rehearsal.
My
naturally.
kids are all at different stages of development, but they all have to work on something. They're always working on a dream or an idea. They're always working on something, and my kids, and I think all kids, are fabulous creators. You know, you don't think they're paying attention, you don't think they're interested, but when it comes time to doing it, they accept so easily that they put adults to shame pretty quickly. So, I mean, all 3 of my kids have created fabulous things, and it's not so much for me with them that I want them to create material things. I just want them to know that they can't get what they want in their lives unless they have intention. That is the compass. That is the director. You know, and you may not even believe in the quantum law, spirit, or any of that stuff, but if you believe that your intention allows you to make choices, then if you're clear on your intention and you're clear on your purpose, you'll always make the choice for yourself that is not the common choice, because the common choice would lead you back to the old self. So with my kids, you know, they joke with me all the time because they always go, "Oh God, here we go. It's the lecture series. We got to listen." But they love it because I'm appealing to their secret belief that they can do a better job in life, and because of that, they scramble a little bit, and they don't feel like it, and they got too many things, and they got a lot of social engagements. But I get in their face enough. Because I want them to have the experience, and of course, when they do have the experience, then it's all gold, and they love their life, and they love what they're doing.
Okay, because it's about them using their imagination. Well, all of us, isn't it? If we use our imagination.
I think it's actually, imagination is one ingredient.
Okay, what are the others?
Well, you can't just have imagination without will.
True.
Because some people who imagine without intention, without getting clear on what they want, they make these sharp turns, and they're swimming with dolphins, and they're out in outer space. And not that I mind that, but I just don't think it has any realistic application. I think that you have to have a certain degree of practicality and intention along with imagination, and you have to have this passion, this will, and then you have to have this kind of immaterial knowing how to surrender, how to give it up, how to live as if it's already been taken care of, to be in the joy of the gift of life, and that it's a mystery and that it's an adventure. And I can tell you from watching my children and the experiences that I've had, that when I'm in that state of mind, things happen in terms of unusual events that I think would have never happened if I was being the contracted, predicting, calculating, analyzing, self that we find ourselves in when we're missing magic in our lives.
It's a key word, isn't it? The magic. Another break. Stay with us.